Everyone has a unique book of life known as Akashic Records. Welcome to today's Spiritual Mastery interviews with Akashic Record readers, guides, and practitioners. Welcome, everyone, to the Spiritual Mastery special interviews with Akashic Record practitioners and readers. My name is Anne Marie Pizarro. I am super excited to bring my next guest into our interview today. Her name is Cannon Schaub. And before we bring Cannon in, let's just give her a big round of applause. Okay, Cannon, welcome, friend, to our call. I'm so happy that you're here. And I just wanted to introduce you to the Akashic Collective, introduce you to our world, but I know you can do a better job at it. So please let me know what's your name, what you're about, and where you're from, and what are your specialties?
Thank you so much, Anne. It is such an honor to be part of this group and to be interviewed by you today. I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to this for weeks. So, my name is Cannon Schaub, and I am based in New York City. I have lived here for 28 years, and I'm originally from Los Angeles. I grew up there, which is a very magical, spiritual place. I am offering a remote distance space clearing, Reiki, 13th octave LahoChi healings, and of course, Akashic record readings.
Now, I'm going to ask.
I have, yeah,
No, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Please go ahead. I'm going to ask you about the LahoChi later, but please go ahead. Sorry to
Okay.
interrupt. Yeah.
I have studied astrology with Joseph Adetto, and I've studied, yes, we're all big fans of Joe in the world. And I've also studied tarot with Patty Canova. I've studied Akashic record reading with you, and I have an ongoing spiritual practice program with Kai Altair of Ilaria Healing Arts.
Wow. So you've got this beautiful skill set that's very, very well rounded. So I'm curious to ask how you got started on your spiritual journey, your healing path, and even going into these arts, because this isn't normally what you do as your main work. So I'm curious to find out how you got started.
Well, it's thanks to you that I started remembering and a reading with you 2 years ago. But
Wow.
as a child, yes, I call that the right turn moment of my life. But as a child, I always knew I was different and celebrated, which is, I think, a little unusual, but I celebrated and was celebrated for being different. And I was very lucky to be raised by someone who was into astrology. So that has been the foundation of my life. We don't travel during Mercury retrograde or make big plans. And so I was surrounded by astrology from a very young age, and especially growing up in Los Angeles at that time, there was an incredible bookstore that my mom used to take me to called Bodhi Tree. And I remember the first crystal I bought, and which was a bloodstone, and still one of my favorite crystals. And so that was a very strong period in my life. Um, and then I had a really negative experience with a psychic.
Wow.
And it was a rough reading as a teenager to receive from
Wow.
someone that I had visited before. And you know I just sort of got a message that this is something that I should be very careful, because I am super empathic. And I really turned away from my spirituality and was, very not open to it. And a couple of really great friends and healers of mine had readings with you. And in 3 sentences, someone had a reading with you convinced me to wake up the next morning from my, birthday party and book a reading. And from that, I started on this journey that I've been really doing at a hyper speed.
Oh, And I have to say, just witnessing your progress, you are bending
Yeah.
light time, you are bending time,
Yes.
and you are incredible as a reader, as a guide. So many things you bring in from your background and experience, and you are very gifted, Cannon. So thank you for
Oh,
doing that
thank you.
job, because
Thank you, Anne.
one of the things that the record keepers have said to me for years and years in the Akashic Records is there's just not enough. There's just not enough healers, practitioners, light workers, earth angels to really serve the world. So to see you blossoming into this beautiful gift that is so natural for you, and hearing the wisdom that comes out of you, you guys, you have to set up a session.
Oh.
I don't know how these arrows are working. You have to set up a session. Let me just say, it's totally worth your time, and you will get such insight and feedback. So since you've started this journey, or since you've been on this journey, it sounds like this journey started at the very beginning, because you have a very awakened and aware parent who was already giving you guidance around astrology, around metaphysics, around crystals. And that's not something that a lot of people get. I know I didn't get it in my early years. And I'm curious to ask you, what have you discovered about yourself in this journey of remembering your role, remembering your power, remembering your path? What have you discovered?
I have really come to understand myself in a way that I wasn't able to before I started on this path. And I understand the way I think and the way I react and how it is maybe different than some people. And I understand how much authority I have in my life. And that is really something that a lot of people don't understand, that you can call in your assigned group, your guides, your helpers, the time lords. You can work with the universe with from a place of authority. And I really feel such a strong calling to help people find their own true north.
Oh, gosh, I love that so much, because when we had our spiritual mastery paired practice, I actually got
Mm.
connected. I was paired with Cannon, and I was asking questions, and you had told me about my own true north, and I was like, wait a minute, that resonates. It's like my North Star, my guiding star, my own true north. And it's such a strong resonation, because one's true north may be very different from somebody else's true north. And I love that you talk about really embracing your authority. So, considering all the events and changes that are happening in the world right now, and there's a lot of different levels of
Mhm.
that. I know you've gone through the pandemic. New York was really rough during that time frame. How do you feel you bring something? What do you feel like you bring to support people in the world based on your spiritual training and your understanding of yourself?
We all need support, and I feel that I can bring a level of support that's maybe coming from a different direction than other readers. I have come from a background of interior design. I've also worked in fashion. And so coming from, you know, a different ground almost, and how I can support people across the world, in finding, their authority and their path, which may not be, as it was with me, it was not the path I was on at the time of my reading. I thought my life was going this way, and you were like, no, 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 you just nudge it this way, and it just aligns with you.
Yeah, it's amazing what a little phrase or a little reminder triggers
Just
that
a nudge.
energy. The nudge triggers that
Yeah,
energy
the
for that
nudge.
person to make a choice. And that's really the
Yes.
heart of the work in the Akashic Records, is the choices that we get to make. Even if your record keepers say go straight, but if there's a party that's like, I really want to turn right, then you have that authority to turn right instead of following
Mhm.
that guidance. So, what you find is you go right, You go down that road and you turn another left, and whoa, bam, you're back on that path again. But it's a much more elevated way that you're really seeing your life. So I'm curious to ask you, since you've been on this journey, how has the world around you reacted to your evolution, your elevation? So friends, families, and even clients.
That's such a great question. You know, some have been incredibly supportive and really, risen to the challenge. And
Yeah.
even someone that I challenge, but opportunity, let's call it the opportunity. Someone that I went to college with and reconnected with a couple years ago, she was like, "Oh yeah, of course. You were always like this. You were always super empathic." And, often empaths can be perceived as being a little mean sometimes because they absorb so much energy and don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, uh, having that support and acknowledgement, and also calling in so many healers that have helped me, and teachers, without my self-care squad, I would be nothing, and I would love to be part of someone's self-care
Self
squad.
care squad. You just blew my world here, lady. The self care squad. Holy cow,
It
you
takes we
took
all
it.
need a village, so we all need a village surrounding us, helping us, guiding us, suggesting to us.
You're so right.
Yeah.
And I'm actually grateful for you, Cannon, for introducing me to Joseph because I got a very timely astrology reading with him at the same time that the Akashic Record reading I got with you around the Own True North. They just kind of aligned at the same time. And it was as if you guys, I didn't even realize you were part of that self care squad. You came in to give me the support for me to understand you're on the right track, you're on the right path, you can relax here. So I love this idea of the self care squad. And I'd love to ask you to share why you came up with this concept and how you feel this idea could really support other people in the world because self care is often something that people put last. And when they do give it to themselves, they feel guilty. So
I know.
I'd like to ask you how you came up with this concept and how you were able to, again, it goes back to the authority, own the authority of this is what I'm worth and this is what I need.
It's really maintenance at this point. I mean, it is the bare minimum that I need in order to be my best me. And, it really started with studying astrology with Joseph Adetto. That was like the first step was learning TM, and then
Okay.
studying with Joseph Adetto started shortly thereafter. And even my first reading with him really helped me understand who I was in a way that I was shocked because I grew up, with astrology and then his insights. It's always great to have different perspectives. So, um, and then, reading with you, and then learning Reiki and every aspect of it, even my massage therapist, it is a squad. They hold the space, and I am just buzzing with sparkle because I get to now be, someone who can hold space for someone
Oh,
and allow them, as you said, to settle into who they are so they can shine.
you are just so incredible, Cannon. Seriously, between the
Oh,
group, the self care squad, these are just, I think, important concepts that we're bringing out into the world to start changing and flipping the languaging around allowing, really allowing support, allowing help.
mhm,
There's this idea that you have to just do it. You got to make it on your own. You got to prove yourself. And I feel like
I
that's an
know.
old paradigm because it's
Yes.
a very egocentric based paradigm rather than realizing that, our human energy fields blend with other people's human energy fields. And if we can be supportive of each other, we both grow in that container and capacity together. Now, I would like to ask you, what is LahoChi? What is LahoChi?
So
And I'm going to bring this
third
next to us because you're not
yeah.
showing up here but I'm just going to bring up this part here that talks about you and LahoChi. So I'm going to bring you back. There you are. So tell me about what LahoChi is, because I have no idea.
13th octave LahoChi is similar to the concept of Reiki, and taught it's only taught to people who are Reiki level 2, but it is basically working within the violet flame of Saint Germain.
Okay.
And and there's specific hand positions that you take on the body. There's, just similar to Reiki, there is a symbol, and you're using the violet flame to heal a person.
Now, some of these people that are watching this video may not be in the East Coast, may not even be in the New York
Yeah.
City area, may not even be able to reach you. So I'm curious to ask if any of these things that are being shown here in this promotional offer screen, which includes the Akashic Record Readings, the energetic space clearing, Reiki, and octave, 13 octave LahoChi, can any of these be done remotely?
All of them can be done remotely.
Did you hear that, friend?
All of them.
All of them, including energetic space clearing. So I'm curious, Cannon, tell me what that looks like for you when you're doing energetic space clearing for someone's home or someone's space.
Well, I can visually travel to a space in my mind, and work to clear out energetic, dense energy fields in the space. I can also guide the clients after in how they can improve the space and things they can do to keep the energy flowing in their highest and best good.
Incredible. And what kind of feedback have you gotten when you've done space clearing? Because I know when I do my own space clearing, especially after I get done working at the end of the day, there's a huge difference. It feels stagnant, stuck, and you feel really discombobulated. Your thoughts feel real scattered, to all of a sudden you're just like crystal clear thoughts. You feel just happier and lighter. So, what are some of the experiences you've had from people that you've done clearings for?
My favorite one is when they talk about sleeping better, because we all could sleep better, especially over the last 18 months, and so sleeping better, feeling more centered and calm, feeling that they are in a place that supports them emotionally, energetically, and physically. I being in you can feel, or I can feel when a home is out of balance. And when you're in a home that is balanced, you are just given the opportunity to shine.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah.
absolutely agree with you. You know, you are such a wealth of wisdom. You have so much
Mm.
experience with all these different trainings, and also you've traveled quite a bit in the world. So, for somebody who is a complete stranger to you and they're looking at you, Cannon Schaub, for the very first time, if you could tell them three things that would uplift, support their lives, what would that be for you?
I I would say to clear their energy using smoke or sound or water, eh, and smells. Incorporate one or two of those, or all of them if you have the time, to spend time in nature, be barefoot in the grass to ground. And I like to start every day having a moment where I put my hand, on my body, and breathe, and realize where I am in my body, what I'm feeling in my body. And anybody can do this. And just, sending love to the places within you that might need it.
That's a big one, Cannon. That's a really big one.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that have a difficult time even, acknowledging that they love themselves. One of the things that we talked
Yes.
about just this week in the Akashic Collective was guilt, and how guilt actually disconnects us from our intuition. Now, you've been so fortunate because I feel like you got plugged into your intuition really early, having parents that were very supportive of instincts, intuition, and higher selves, higher realms. So, how have you developed your intuition?
That's such a great question. And, as you're asking it, I was so lucky that I was indulged basically as a child. I was indulged. But along the way, I lost my faith in my intuition.
Wow.
And so, and that, you know, was about 20 years. And now to find it again has been awesome. I have been uh I had been not listening to it, and to listen to it now and it being so strong as it was the whole time, but
Yeah.
I just wasn't listening. It's been really just an incredible right turn on life.
Right turn on life. So I agree with you. There are so many times that our intuition gives us these nudges,
Mhm.
but oftentimes we hear that being logical or practical is of a
Yeah,
higher caliber. And actually, logic and practicality comes from intuition. Intuition is
yeah,
what gives us that hit. And then it's our logical, practical nature that devises the way that we do it to move forward. But we don't often give intuition the credit for being the generator of the information first.
totally. I used to like to play with chance, but really it's intuition that is what should be listened to.
Yes, I totally
Yeah.
agree with you. Now, I kind of think of you as a space whisperer because you do these energetic
Mm.
space clearings. You have your interior design
Yes.
background, and if if there is a very sensitive empath right now watching this interview and they want to be able to command their space with a greater authority, a space that can support their intuition, support their true north direction, what are some of the things that you would encourage them to try?
It's always important to have plants.
Okay.
It's very important to have plants in the space. I believe that there should be other living things than just you in your space.
Yeah.
And I always like to check in with the feng shui of a space and make sure that things are flowing well. And it's also really important to go back and check the feng shui. I caught myself 2 weeks ago and realized I had something very bad in my prosperity corner,
What was that?
a vacuum cleaner.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I was like, "What is that doing over there?" I mean, it's logically the best place for it, but from the feng shui perspective, no. Even if it was a nice vacuum
It's
cleaner.
taking
Yes.
that money and vacuuming it away, right?
It out. Exactly. So, checking in with the feng shui, you can Google La Feng Shui Bagua easily to pull up the different sections of your home. Again, I go back to using smoke, whether it be sage or Palo Santo, just something to fill the space. Because smell is such a strong recall of experiences.
I definitely did definitely agree with you. And I often find that, when things are a little bit wonky in the world
Mhm.
and we're feeling really disconnected or distracted, I often find that people get they get freaked out and they start thinking, I need help. So they start looking externally. And I've had that
Yeah.
happen to me because I've been like, okay, I need help. And I remember in my early 30s, I was like, oh, I need help. I was part of this networking community of business owners, and this really lovely woman reached out to me and was like, I'll help you. And then I sat back and I was like, oh, you're so kind. But then I realized I was like, okay, this particular person, even though they're super kind, their life was in total disarray, completely upside down, could not manage their finances. And I actually stopped and I said, Anne, why would you go ask for help from someone who's got their life in shambles? So I asked this question and it said, I asked, what do you really need to do? And the answer I got was, go take care of your closet. Believe it or not, my closet, I feel like the closet is like a connection to your inner mind. And when I went to the closet, I was like, it was completely overrun. It was completely in shambles. So I spent about 4 or 5 hours just dealing with the closet, donating old stuff. And by the end of the day, I was like calm, back to myself, and realized, oh, that was all I had to do. So those little steps can have big outcomes because when we're really tuned into our space actually talks to us. So I have right here on this bottom part of this scene right here, your website, Own True North, or actually Own True, is it Own True North?
OwnTrueNorth.com.
Let me just fix that. And I get to fix that real quick right here, friends. You're going to see me do some magic and fix this because we're still in Mercury in retrograde. And beautiful Cannon has
Still in
been
the shadow.
so patient with me today. This is our first interview here on Spiritual Mastery using this software format. And she has been the best, let me tell you, the best guest. So, friends, I just want to reinforce that if you are looking for your care team, your self-care team, you are looking for support, whether it's in your Akashic records, whether it's with your energy field, or whether it's your home space, this lady is the authority that will help you. And I am so happy to have you on our call today, Cannon, and sharing your brilliance, sharing your wisdom. So people can find you at owntruenorth.com. So if you're in a place right now where you're just not sure where that center is, please let Cannon help you. You don't have to struggle. You don't have to keep wondering or scratching your head because this person can show you the way. She showed me the way, and I'm so glad for that time and that call. So, Cannon, thank you so much for your time today. I just want you to know it has been such a great, great, great pleasure connecting to you. And I know that we'll definitely see you soon. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We are giving you
Thank
that
you,
love.
Anne.
Absolutely, friend. And just remember, if you are in a place, in a jam, need some extra support, come to the Akasha Collective and we will see you there. Now, just know if you have any questions, you can email Cannon or you can connect to her through Own True North. All right, everyone, have a blessed day and we'll talk soon. Bless up.